All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game between Infi versus Focus. Infi spawning as the red human player over here on the top right-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Focus has spawned as the blue orc. Orc versus human in this 1v1 matchup. Things are already getting underway, and as you guys can tell, this is all from WGL Summer Season 2020. All right, first groups of stages have already gone underway, and well, I know a lot of my viewers out there have been wondering some of those games and wanted me to cast them, so hence here it is. If you guys have already seen it, well, try not to spoil anything in the comments section below, as this is perhaps this is one of the largest Warcraft 3 tournaments in quite a while, and we're hoping that this can somehow catapult into a little bit more, but we'll see as things outside of Asia, well, Warcraft 3 not doing as well as we would hope. It is such a great game with so much depth, so many things to learn, and so many different ways to play that it is absolutely important that you see that there. Even just now, you saw Infi, he was purposely like microing his peasant, shifting it to the right as it was getting in between hits, and then that way would actually have a shorter trek back to this town hall. All of those small differences there, getting a little bit more lumber, getting a little bit more gold, and that translates into, well, time differences and a little bit of an advantage. We've seen, well, upgrades coming in just at the right time. We've seen units be able to barely escape, giving us 1 or 2 second advantage does have an impact on the game. It's trying to get those 1 to 2 second advantages and string them together to actually have a good outcome. Now we're seeing Infi on the red human coming down to the bottom left to take a look at what Focus is going to do. One thing to note, Infi did choose human as his race in this matchup. Infi oftentimes just plays ladder. Just plays on the ladder and plays random, and although it is cute, it doesn't work well in the highest levels of play. We are looking at the Archmage trying to clear out this creep camp, does do exactly that. Farseer now going to be coming out across the map to harass, and that harassment is going to be coming down rather shortly. Tech to tier 2 already underway by Focus as well. You can see that Great Hall already a quarter of the way done. Hey Burrow Rush, how you doing? As the Archmage gets in some damage onto that Farseer. Farseer going to try and slip back here. Meanwhile, Militia going to be able to easily clear up there, and a little bit of a small advantage by Infi already, as the Archmage has claws of attack +6, will be able to deal a little bit more damage. Water Elemental going to try and engage there. Archmage, well, making sure or trying to catch up to that Farseer. A little bit of damage onto the Spirit Wolves is not going to amount to much, as those are just going to be easily re-summoned. New Water Elemental being placed down here, and during the early stages of the game, before your Archmage has access to that Brilliance Aura, for all you human players out there, make sure to not over-summon your Water Elementals. By constantly over-summoning your Water Elementals, that Archmage is not going to have mana, as now we're going to take a look. Archmage going to try and perhaps finish off some of these units here. Alright, aggroing those creeps. Archmage actually caught in a tough spot, trying to make its way back, and then creates a little bit of a wall. Nicely done there. Archmage should be able to get to level 2 if there's no steals, as the Farseer is just doing a great job trying to, minimize all of that damage. Double Water Elementals are down. Archmage gets Brilliance Aura already, as you're looking at, well, a low hit point peasant trying to run away. Is going to be able to jump inside the gold mine. No, it does not, as the Ogre Magi does fall. Farseer still at 345 hit points. Going to be okay there. Damage is getting added in. Farseer is going to try to re-summon the rest of those units. No, it is not going to re-summon, as the Farseer wants to put pressure, but it doesn't look like Infi has really been phased too much by Focus and all of those Spirit Wolves. Now, what is Focus's long-term plan going to be? Focus's long-term plan is going to be to mainly try and use the tech advantage that he's established, perhaps trying to get some Wind Riders and or Raiders to push in and perhaps punish this expansion a little bit later. His army is still a little bit smaller right now, as we are looking at Militia and now Towers coming out across the field. Grunts joining in on the fight, but it does take a little bit of time for those Grunts to actually get back into the battlefield now, as the Footmen, well, massive in numbers, are gonna push back those Grunts. over here on the bottom left. There's the bestiary, double bestiary strategy coming across from Focus, and we'll see if it is going to be Wind Riders or Raiders. Both have their advantages. Wind Riders, well, if the Archmage doesn't have enough units out onto the field, especially water elementals, it is going to be difficult to fend off any attack. I don't see a blacksmith as of yet, and with that, that means no rifleman. Archmage is going to have to be very, very careful trying to keep all of that mana ready in waiting to be able to deal with any of those Wind Riders. If it is going to be Wind Riders, no, it is going to be Raiders instead. So Raiders can perhaps start to be used to ensnare and trap units in all of these hit and run tactics. Archmage now looking to back up here. Archmage really wants to get up to level 3 for that level 2 water elemental, trying to get just a little bit more. Meanwhile, the Farseer still sitting at level 1. Are we going to see the death of a Footman? Yes, Footman down to 85 or 55, now down to 30 hit points as it tries to retreat back. All right, Footman actually accidentally walks over a little bit too close, and it looks like it will get taken down. All right, we are upgrading the tier 2 by Infi. Finally, Shadowhunter does come bearing gifts, and those gifts are in fact, well, healing on that Farseer. Farseer going to start to perhaps try and put some pressure onto the expansion, but with 2 additional towers getting added in, how much can really be done? Archmage just shy of level 3 now, as we are looking at Raiders now moving out across the field. Raiders, I don't know if Ensnare is done as of yet, as the Raiders are now going to be perhaps making their way across here. All right, in they go, trying to go after this scout tower. There's a lot of Spirit Wolves. Archmage off to the side here. There's a Footman. There's a Lightning Shield. Archmage gets up to level 3, drops a level 2 Water Elemental. That's exactly what Infi needed as he tries to escape. Ensnare already down onto Infi's Archmage. Archmage does have a Talisman of Evasion, but it's not going to be enough. Scroll of Town Portal back over here to get a little bit more defense as the scout towers are now getting ready here. Archmage going to try and hide in the back as a Lightning Shield now coming down across. Going to finish off that grunt right there. Archmage sitting at level 3. Tower number 1 does end up taking down as the grunts and, well, Farseer are now trying to back up again. Scroll of Regeneration being used and fighting just outside the range of these towers as the Raiders are just ensnaring and picking off those units. As long as the Footmen are unable to run all the way back inside their base, they are going to be taking a little bit of damage. Water Elemental, well, should actually be attacking. He is ensnared, not quite sure why he isn't attacking, as another Footman gets caught in transit. Focus is really making his opponent, Infi, pay for this expansion right now, and it is costing blood. Archmage with, well, Brilliance Aura and also Clarity Potions, trying to drop enough water elementals to make a strong stand here, as Focus says, you know what, I don't need to attack you where you're the strongest. I can attack you off over here, as we're going up against a 35 supply against 49. Infi having the much smaller overall supply right now. Raiders coming back across here as well. And the thing to note, there is pillage. Pillage, all of these Raiders, as they're dealing damage, is also giving a little bit more gold to Focus's army. Hence the reason why gold is going up in a non-increment of 10. If you guys were wondering how I knew that. Water Elemental is now trying to make its way back over as we're looking at Footmen now falling down as well. There goes that Footman. Level 2 now on the Shadowhunter. Farms are going to get taken down. Units are now going to be making their way back across Farseer. Only sitting at level 2 though, as we're going to be looking at a new Altar of Storms being built down. There goes a Peasant. Farms are now a problem as we are at tier 2, but we are unable to train up any additional heroes. All right, Healing Wave bouncing around again. Water Elemental is still continuing the fight here as the Keep is going to end up taking a lot of damage. Raiders are now joining in on the fight, or pushing in is continually on the fight. Is this one Raider going to be able to make its way out? No, it is not. No Shadowhunter heal across there. Not quite sure why we didn't see that, as damage is starting to add back up again. All right, Arcane Tower and Guard Towers. There's that Shadowhunter heal bouncing around. 8-second or 9-second cooldown, as we should be looking at, well, double Ensnare. Infi was trying to time so that he could get 2 water elementals out at the same time to start to try and push back, but it looked like Focus was actually ready for this and just waited for the ensnares, and now Infi just, well, trying to buy a little bit of time, but still giving experience to Focus and his heroes. All right, Raiders are going to be backing away once more. What is the tech showing? We need to get sorceresses. Mountain King now back out. Are we going to perhaps see a Store Bolt to snipe down a unit? No, we do not. But the presence of the Mountain King is felt. Focus is, well, not necessarily retreating, just regrouping. Back over here, Archmage well, healing up again. Infi does have the economic advantage, but that's all he really has going, and the hero advantage slightly right now, but that's all he has going for him. As soon as that Shadow Hunter, or excuse me, the Farseer gets up to level 3, he will be behind. As we're now looking at, well, Focus making its way down across here. I'm doing very, very well. Thank you for tuning in. All right, Focus should be able to easily finish off all of these trappers here. Not much of a problem. A Hex onto that Ogre Magi and easily taking down or preventing any additional bloodlust as an Ensnare now goes across as well. Farseer making its way over. And this was a perfect timing. Focus, knowing exactly what he's doing here, had the follow-up plan. He's already at Fortress, has the tiny Great Hall ready to go. As well, the Footmen are looking to try and fight back here. A couple of Ensnares, Footmen sharing or splitting up all of those attacks. Healing salves being used across multiple units as the Farseer and Shadow Hunter, both sitting at level 3, are ready to move out. Infi needs the best unit in the game, Rifleman. Well, Rifleman at this point and stage in the game would not be very helpful at all. Your opponent is going to mass Raiders, and well, mass Raiders up and down sides, they take minimal damage from the piercing towers and also the piercing damage from those riflemen. Shadow Hunter still back across over here, has plenty of mana because of clarity potions, but it still will run out fairly soon as we see a couple of Ensnares now go down. All right, Ensnares back across over here trying to finish off some of those Footmen. It looks like some heals were trying to be used here. Raider does end up staying barely alive as the Town Hall taking a lot of damage now. Meanwhile, well, Archmage and Mountain King trying to return the favor, putting in damage here as we're looking at so much damage being added in onto the Town Hall here. Town Hall could end up getting taken down. Are we going to see enough damage? It goes down to 82 damage, and the Scroll of Town Portal does land in time. That does mean we'll be seeing the death of 1 or 2 Raiders. 1 Raider getting taken down there. But Infi, who had an economic advantage momentarily, is now all of a sudden in trouble. Focus. Focus with just plenty of focus and nerve. He did end up losing a handful of peasants down across over here, but he still has his expansion up and operational. 2 level 3 heroes going up against a level 3 and a level 1. Shadow Hunter and Farseer will be coming back across, getting in some heals in just a moment. And Raiders, one of the best units in the game. Fast moving, siege damage dealing units, making their attacks on bases still very, very potent. Focus now using his economic advantage, turning it into an army size advantage as we're going to look at him make their way out across the north. We don't see any riflemen as of yet, and well, that may be a needed unit now that Focus has gone for Wind Riders, as we're going across and seeing a bit of a creep jack down here. Web now being cast across here. Water Elemental not taken down. That was a little bit of free experience, but not capitalized on, as Focus and the Shadow Hunter and the Farseer going to be staying at level 3. Every bit of experience definitely helps here. 2 Wind Riders in the air, the guard towers up. Infi rebuilding this Town Hall and with, well, turbo speed, with the use of, well, multiple peasants, as that Town Hall is back up and running. But how much did it cost? Ensnare used. Mountain King, well, temporarily lost his ability to heal, but well, the priests were already there as well. I think Infi actually has 6 peasants on this gold mine, more than is necessary, as the units are still making their ways around. Raiders now shifting and rotating back off over here as well. Wind Riders are getting into position, well, trying to finish down all of these Arcane Sanctums, and it looks like a gradual transition from Raiders to Wind Riders. How effective is that going to be, though? And well, maybe fairly effective, as the Raiders are not going to try to put pressure onto this keep. All right, damage being done rather quickly. Spirit Wolves now making their way, trying to dive on inside. They're going to be attacking. You can see that Raider is getting slowed, multiple slow across the Raiders. Healing Wave now bouncing around. Wind Rider's going to go ahead and turn back around. Scroll of Speed to close in on that distance, and in comes the Thunderclap. Mountain King trying to finish things off here, as we're going to see a little bit of damage being dealt across multiple units. Farseer trying to push back, as the Raiders are now just going to rotate back off off to the other side. Militia now being called, and Infi being forced to chase back over here to the top left. All right, we are going into a workshop, but how effective is that going to be here? A quick ensnare, and well, most likely a cancellation, as that is not going to be and not going to stick around for very long. All right, Mountain King, is it going to get off a thunderclap? Yes, it does. Damage and slow across all of those units. Militia now making their way over. Wind Riders trying to push in some pressure as well, as the Militia are pushing through on the other side. Militia will be coming to an end, and Scroll of Speed being used effectively again in order to counteract that movement speed slow. The attack speed still, however, negatively affected, as the units are now continuing to fight back. Militia falling as one Wind Rider gets the dam. Early today, what have I missed? Wyverns versus humans seems like an interesting gambit. It is, and at this point, the early pressure coming in from Focus really has delayed any sort of workshop and or rifleman strategy from Infi. That's what it's been. Focus has been really placing down that heavy pressure and then waiting to get to use the orc advantage for that tiny Great Hall to set up his own expansion. This one expansion from Infi has fallen once, and now we'll see what Infi is going to follow up here with. It feels like as the game goes longer, though, Infi, Focus has really been putting in a lot of pressure, but Infi has been able to handle it fairly well, even though he is currently behind by 30 supply. There is going to be a tipping point, though, and that may be reached here momentarily, as well, an 80 supply army going up against 51 is rather drastic. I think the tipping point has been reached now. We're going to see the Town Hall now taking down Riflemen, Sorceress, and Priest, but maybe too little, too late, as the Mountain King gives a departing gift to that Raider. Shadow Hunter instead of Tauren Chieftain as well, and that was to prolong the attack with those Raiders. The Shadow Hunter with that healing wave having a profound impact so far, as the Wind Riders are now, well, going after creeps in order to maximize their damage and perhaps get to level 4 on both the Shadow Hunter and that Farseer. All right, building, well, this Town Hall for the third time, and we are currently low on lumber. That is going to be a problem, and this is also going to be the perfect opportunity for Focus to get up to, well, get in a little bit more experience and perhaps get a commanding lead in the experience race. There is, well, a reveal there, making sure there is no invisible units, keeping track of all of them, and I think Focus is going to be going for the kill now. 1-1 upgrades on those Grunts and Raiders. Wind Riders have a little bit of armor upgrade. Wind Riders able to easily finish off a Town Hall as it's being constructed, there it goes. Mountain King comes in with a Thunderclap, but, well, Wind Riders unaffected by all of that there. Grunts finishing off a couple of the Riflemen, and I think this will be it. This may be the last fight. Mountain King doing his best in that front line spot with the Wind Riders going after the Riflemen, and then we'll have free reign across all of those casters and Militia being able to finish them off. Farseer still continuing the fight here. You can see all of that slow, all of the Thunderclap coming across, so much damage, but so far Infi unable to do very much at all. All right, shifting between these two units. Movement speed, movement, such a powerful ability here on the battlefield, making going from one direction to the next, constantly making your opponent out of position. Infi is feeling the pressure, as the Spirit Wolves are now going to try to perhaps dive on in. All right, in comes Book of the Dead, not nearly summoning as many units as before, but it is still a large number, as the range attacks now being dealt onto all of those units here. All right, ensnare onto the Archmage. Archmage tries to get away, will be able to do exactly that. Mountain King taking a large amount of damage. Sorceresses and Priests dancing back around, as we're looking at a low hit point Raider, Scroll of Town Portal, coming back onto this side here, and now Infi just playing a game of constant chase up, trying to catch up to Focus. There goes a healing wave right there. Wind Riders just dancing around back and forth, not even bothering to disenchant or purge off any of that slow, as this Town Hall may end up getting canceled once again. All right, you can see all of that damage getting added in, no expansion, and, well, the difference between these two armies is just continuing to grow greater and greater. Mountain King ensnared, and there is the GG. Infi losing this game to Focus. Focus playing in a very passionate, very harassing tactic here. I would have thought the overall resource score would have been a little bit closer. Focus actually probably mined about the same amount of gold. And now that I look at it again, it was just a gold lost to upkeep. That was the major difference there. Focus also gaining a little bit of gold from that pillage ability, and to close in some of that gap as well. In the end, the resource score was the main difference, but all Infi did with that extra bit of gold was feed experience to Focus. And, well, he was constantly trying to rebuild that town hall. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.